While resting from his injuries, he told Iruma that his name was Kiriwo, and said that he was the only member of his group since no one was willing to befriend a lonely, disgusting loser. Iruma decided to look around the lab, and thought the place looked like a haunted house. Kiriwo told him that he can create apparatuses that can be powered by magic. To make a demonstration, he decided to cast a spell into a ball, but nearly passed out from exhaustion. While resting, he told Iruma that he was a weak demon who was born with little magical powers, and could not stop blowing up the lab every time he tried developing a new technology. As he showed Iruma his special apparatus, he told him that the device was created to enhance a demon's magic. However, he considered it useless since he could not fix the missing piece. Ready to take on challenge, Iruma began to fix the heart. When he was done, Kiriwo decided to put it into the apparatus. As it powered up, a bright light began to glow before them. So Kiriwo told him that the machine would help in increasing their powers through its magical ball. With this apparatus, he thought that the weaker demons would become as powerful as the greater ones, and that it would create equality in the demon world. Inspired by his words, Iruma decided to join his group. The following day, when Iruma returned to the lab, he told Kiriwo that Alice and Clara were eager to become the newest members, because other groups thought they were too ugly to be accepted. Meanwhile in the office, Amri was angry that Iruma had failed to appear at the school council during the trial period of the groups. However, when he finally arrived, he realized that the room's decoration was in the same style as in the comic book. As they sat down for tea, she asked him if he had joined a senior group, so he told her that he found the perfect one for himself. However, she grew angry at his words, and demanded that he joins her own group so that she could finally taste his meat. The following day, as the students prepared for their parents' day, Iruma remembered that his useless parents never visited him at school for once, and began to wonder if he would also be abandoned in the demon world. Inside the lab, Iruma decided to ask Kiriwo if his parents had appeared on his own parents' day. Kiriwo told him that his parents had kicked him out several years ago, since he has little magical powers, and said that his brother has watched over him ever since. Iruma thought they were similar since they were both abandoned by their parents, and hoped to form a greater bond with him. That evening, when they arrived at the courtyard, they realized that they had only a narrow space to showcase their group presentation. Kiriwo told them that he has a low rank, and said that the space could only be larger if he had a higher rank. Realizing that Kiriwo was a worthless loser, Iruma decided to ask what he had showcased in the previous year. Kiriwo told him that he had merely shown everyone his apparatus, and thought that they would be impressed by the sight of it, but they had called it a worthless piece of junk. To impress everyone, Iruma suggested that they launch fireworks, but the demons had never seen any before. However, they agreed to give it a try, so Kiriwo suggested that they spend the entire night creating the fireworks. That night, he was uncertain that he could create the fireworks since he had never seen any before. At these words, Iruma realized that he needs to show them the fireworks. So the next day, he decided to visit Amari, and asked to see her beautiful fireworks. She thought he intended to have a quick one, and told him that she was ready to unleash her fireworks at once, but he told her that he wishes to take home all of her fireworks, because he would not be satisfied from a single climax. As she grew angry that he was becoming picky, she told him that her fireworks were very special, and that he could be eliminated if caught in the act. Iruma promised that he would be gentle, and said that he would only climax a few times before stopping. Realizing she would also climax from watching him climax, she agreed to offer him her fireworks for one night only. At the lab, Iruma decided to reveal the real fireworks to his friends, and they were excited by the sight of it. Before long, they began to create their own fireworks. By the time they were done, they decided to try a little test outside. Alice lit up the cannon. A small firework dispersed into the air. Delighted with their success, Iruma suggested that they create greater fireworks. The next day at the courtyard, Alice told Iruma that the cannon has been perfected for the fireworks, and that he was eager to unleash them across the demon world. Two students began teasing them, saying that they had created a new garbage disposal, but Alice told them that their mom was garbage. Meanwhile, Kiriwo entered an attic, intending to destroy the school during the festivities. As he unveiled his secret weapon, he realized that he would soon be transporting everyone into the afterlife. Iruma mysteriously appeared behind him, and wondered what he was secretly doing. Shocked by his presence, Kiriwo decided to ask how he had discovered his whereabouts. Iruma told him that his ring had led him into the storeroom, and Kiriwo remembered that it had happened before in the hallway. Iruma wondered what he was doing in the attic. So Kiriwo told him that this was his secret base, and decided to invite him inside. He told him that the attic used to be a secret hideout for demons who often experimented on hidden devices. Iruma wondered if he was equally experimenting on a hidden device, but Kiriwo unveiled the window, and told him that he was merely taking in the sight. He reminded Iruma about his desire to create a world without magical powers, and said that he was eager to see it become a reality. With Iruma delighted by his words, Kiriwo began telling him that he was happy to have known him, and said that he was different from the other students he had met. Iruma told him that he was also happy to have met him, and thought that he may someday reveal his secret of being human. Kiriwo told him that he came to the attic to have some alone time, but was now eager to see the fireworks launched into the sky. As Iruma grew excited, he suggested that they enter the festival's competition and win the grand prize before everyone. He was certain that they could win it, and told Kiriwo that they would be respected across the school, and would increase their ranks at the same time. Excited by the possibility, Kiriwo decided to agree, but told him to never tell anyone that he has a secret hideout. The following day, Iruma decided to ask for Sullivan's whereabouts, having noticed that he had been missing for a few days. So Opera told him that Sullivan had vanished after a meeting with other demon lords, but was certain that he would return to them. At school, as the students were preparing for the start of their grand festivities, Alice decided to reveal his plans for igniting the fireworks. However, when he summoned a flame to aid his demonstration, Clara decided to set off the fireworks. At this realization, Iruma tried putting out the fire, but failed, so Alice protected them immediately. However, it merely lit a flame, and they realized that the cannon was actually empty. Before long, they started looking for Kiriwo, convinced that the shell was in his possession, but realized that he was nowhere in sight. As they began to wonder where he was, Alice told them that he may have run off since he was a useless coward anyway. Meanwhile, Kiriwo had arrived inside the attic with the shell for the fireworks, and was ready to destroy the entire school. As it grew dark, he decided to crush his neck collar. At that instant, the ground began to quake, and a glass shield descended on the school. Inside the school, Iruma tried reuniting with his friends, but bumped into an invisible shield. As they touched the glass before them, they realized that they were all trapped inside invisible walls. Iruma remembered that Kiriwo had revealed a similar shield to them, and wondered if he had cast the barriers, hoping to destroy it. Alice struck it with his flaming sword, but it was unscathed. Alice told them that Kiriwo had been plotting for this day a long time ago, and had intentionally ditched them before setting off his plans. Iruma told them that he knows his whereabouts, and intends to find him immediately. Alice offered to help him through the barriers, and began to draw the blueprint of the school. Eager to help, Clara decided to summon paper soldiers, so Alice cast a flame on them, and directed them down the hallway. He said that he would find the location of the barriers using the papers, and would guide Iruma through this shield, so he began running off. At the same time, Caligo and Robin were trapped inside a shield, looking to destroy it, and realized that they intend to attack the students since Sullivan was absent from the school. Determined to discover who it was, he decided to unleash another spell at the barrier, and walk through the opening. Before long, he arrived inside the records office, saying that he intends to check for the student who has the magical powers to cast a barrier. In the meantime, Kiriwo realized that the students were being led into the inner courtyard, so he summoned his virtual blueprint, hoping to guide everyone to their doom. With a snap, his monstrous weapon descended before him, so he cast the ball into the machine, and powered it, ready to annihilate everyone in an instant. He soon discovered that Iruma was heading towards his hideout, and wondered how he managed to discover that he had cast the barrier. Arriving at the attic, Iruma decided to push the hidden stone, revealing the door, but when he tried to enter, he discovered that the entrance was protected by a barrier, so he began pounding on it until he fell inside. Kiriwo appeared before his eyes, and told him that he had caused the barrier to appear around the school. As he led him into an inner room, Iruma was frightened by the sight of Kiriwo's weapon. He asked him what he intends to do with it, so he told him that he was looking to blow everyone to smither. Iruma was confused by his words, and wondered why he had to eliminate everyone. So Kiriwo decided to tell him his childhood story. When he was young, his family had discovered that he had very little magical powers, and had thought he was a shame and embarrassment to the family, so they condemned him to the Garden of Delinquents. This garden was a correctional school for abandoned children, but all the kids had teased him, saying that he was uglier than trash. However, he managed to befriend a young girl, and impressed her with his invisible shield. But one day, a group of bullies seized her magical earring, and the leader threw it towards the river. Luckily Kiriwo managed to save it with his invisible glass, but exhausted all his powers, so it fell into the water. His crush had lost her mind at the sight of this, and had soon left the garden, never to be seen again. Kiriwo told Iruma that he could not forgive himself for losing his crush, and was willing to isekai himself and everyone just to see her again. He forced him to the floor, and told him that his true desire was to eliminate everyone in the demon world. Iruma thought that he had lost his mind, and realized that he needed to end him immediately. As Kiriwo released him, He decides to tell him why he intends to obliterate the school. Several years ago, after he was abandoned by his family, he had tried joining a local gang. They thought he was a messed up kid, and tried kicking him out. But their leader appeared before his eyes. He told him that he was a special kid who had the desire to do the right thing, and said that the demon world had been far too peaceful, and thought that they needed to start a war again. Ever since they had begun plotting the war, and he had decided to enroll at the school in the meantime. Until one day, the leader had told him that he desires to destroy all the demon leaders, so that the surviving demons would break into an all-out war for power. Kiriwo told him that he had put explosives into the fireworks shell, and was looking to see the courtyard explode into a giant flaming mushroom. With Iruma shaken by his confession, Kiriwo began telling him that he had allowed him into the attic because he wished to share the site with him, hoping that he would become sad and depressed. However, Iruma merely looked at him like he was a random dude from the next block, and began sacking up some crates. Shocked by his attitude, Kiriwo wondered why he was not quivering in fear. Iruma told him that he was used to feeling despaired, but had managed to learn that no feeling could take away his sadness unless he fought his own way out of it. As he climbed on the crates, he managed to pull the fireworks shell, saying that he would no longer continue to be a coward. He was able to unleash a mightier dragon to combine into a great beast that finally destroyed the barrier. As it rose towards the sky, it exploded into beautiful fireworks that left the students in awe. However, burning and rocks began falling from the explosion, aiming to obliterate the school. Luckily, Sullivan appeared just in time, and froze them in that instant before swirling them in a circle, and dispelling them outside the school into an eruption of another cool fireworks. With the threat vanquished, Sullivan and the committee burst into the attic, ready to eliminate Kiriwo in an instant. Sullivan decided to ask him if he has an accomplice for his crime, but he told him that he was the only culprit, and that he had always dreamed of seeing the world burn to ash. After hearing his confession, they decided to lead him off to a prison where he can rob forever. By the time Iruma woke up, he discovered that Sullivan was standing before him, and began to wonder if the world was successfully saved. Sullivan told him that the world was at peace, and said that Kiriwo had been arrested by the demon border control. He carried Iruma off to the window, and he realized that the students had all been waiting to see him. At once they began screaming his name like a local hero. But that's where this video ends. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.